Hey, so I bet you can tell that this video is a little different than my usual content. I scripted this because I actually did want to make this type of video for a really long time, but I never really got to it until just now. But yeah, let me know if you guys like this. Also, if I'm not active on here in the next coming weeks, I will definitely be on Twitch. I'll be streaming art. Yay, yippee, finally. But yeah, that's all. So a while ago, my cousin came over, like my little cousin, and she wanted to spend some time with me, which was super cool. And we're both into art. So we sat down and we drew for like an hour together. And after that, I noticed that when she saw my art, she compared it to her own and she got pretty sad. And she's in middle school. I'm 21, by the way. This is a running trend I've noticed with younger artists or artists on like social medias in general. They'll comment how they're envious of your art or how their art sucks and this, that, and the third, and basically suggesting that you're talented in some way or another. And I'll be fair, I'd be a fucking hypocrite if I said I didn't think a similar way when I was just starting out, like when I first got on Pinterest, when I was looking at speed paints in like 2010, or even when I was watching like anime when I first got into art in general. I would always feel like I was worse off than them, whether that be I have worse materials than them or I'm just somehow not talented enough that made my art suck. So I decided I would make this video and tell people how I got over art comparison and how I just started having more fun with my art in general after doing it for so long. And this is an example of some of my work. So, I mean, you can take me serious if you want. If you think that's ass, then you can just skip. One of the things that I try to get younger artists or less experienced artists to understand is that even though the barrier of entry to art is less strict than it was when I got into it, like that being like Procreate and Krita and shit like that, like you can get into art for like $30 if you have a computer. It's still a really time consuming and difficult hobby to get into. That being said, the main thing I see holding beginner artists back, and sometimes even more experienced artists, is comparison. Either to a person that you saw on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube or Pinterest or whatever. It is the most prevalent mind block to getting better that I and many other artists have had to go through at some point. Lapping back to what I said before, where I said I'd be a hypocrite if I said I didn't feel the same way, was admittedly an understatement because this shit lasted up until I was like 19, which was 2 years ago. And it felt like no matter how much I practiced, no matter how many YouTube tutorials I looked up, no matter how many brush packs I bought or process videos I watched, I always would notice the little flaws in my art that made me scared to post sometimes and made me feel inferior to artists I saw online or artists I looked up to. And that led into me getting burnout a lot of times until like early 2024 because of comparison alone. The way I even noticed this was a problem is when I started just sitting there and thinking, I'm comparing myself, a 19-year-old hobbyist artist, to like a fucking 50-year-old veteran that has had a job in the industry for like 30 years. You know what I'm saying? And when you put it that way, it starts to sound a little crazy. Like, why would anyone even have these thoughts? But admittedly, it's a really blinding thing that you have to deal with. Or you don't have to deal with it, but like, you know what I'm saying? But after more thinking on it, the conclusion I came to was just to compare myself to myself the day before. And to be honest, there's a lot of times where I've fluked and I've had like really crazy days with art and I've just made like some out of this world shit compared to the other stuff I was making that year. But what I mean compare yourself to yourself before is like the average. Like, look at something in your sketchbook that you thought was ass. Did you draw better than that today? Okay, then you're making progress. And you might be thinking, oh, well, that's all fine and dandy, bitch. But how do you want me to feel when I see artists that are way better than me on the internet? And my answer to that helped me out was to look at artists on the internet or even artists that you look up to as a level you can get to, instead of looking at them like a level that you should be at. if that makes sense. Art isn't a competition, and making it that way will do a lot of damage to your mental health and your burn the fuck. Basically what I'm saying is it can push you away from art as a whole, which it did to me in like middle school. That being said, here's a couple practices I would recommend to deal with comparison. The main thing that really helped me out last year was redrawing things I made in 2023 to see how much better I got. And to my surprise, after thinking I plateaued for so long, I noticed so much improvement in my work. And this is something I recommend every artist do. I do not care what level you're at, as long as you have over a year of experience, please do this. Another one I'd recommend is deleting all your social media when you're feeling like you're overwhelmed by working on a major project and you see other artists, all their pages are just filled with completely finished illustrations while you're barely even started on your own. It can get demotivating, which is why I would recommend to either deactivate or delete all your socials for a minute and then come back when you have something to post. And finally, again, when you see veteran artists, please look at them as a long-term goal of what you would want your art to look like in the future. And if you're up for it, do a study of their work to find what makes their art so captivating to you so you can implement it into your own work. Something I was trying to do in 2023 while getting over the comparison issues, obviously, was trying to genuinely have fun with my art again, because I realized when I was younger, I had so much fun just drawing whatever bullshit just came to mind. Like, I wish I had my old books because I would show, but yeah, I would just draw OCs on a whim, like whatever I could think of. But this sort of magic was getting lost in me trying to improve my portrait skills so much. And I didn't notice it until that year because the monotony of it all kind of like kicked me in the face. These thoughts led me to having a full year of just straight drawing OCs and fan art of random artists I seen on Twitter when I had one. And I haven't done fan art since like freshman year, and I haven't made an OC since like 7th grade, so it's been a while, admittedly. But all that being said, this was some of the most fun shit I have ever done. And even though my posts were flopping really bad on Instagram, fuck y'all. But yeah, I was having fun just making characters instead of drawing my 40 decillionth portrait. And no matter how bad the post flopped, they could get like 3 likes. I was still enjoying it way more. Now that being said, I still do love drawing portraits. It's just sometimes I need a switch because, again, the monotony of it all can get kind of tiring and lead to burnout. So just switching can kind of keep that drive for longer. Finally, I say this to say, please have fun with your art. Your work does not have to be 100% fully finished every time you start something. It doesn't even have to be fucking colored. You don't have to make line art. You don't have to do shit. It could be a rough if you want it. Please try redrawing some OCs from years ago or make a mood board on Pinterest if that's your jazz. You don't need to stay in a niche for social media stats. You don't need 50 brush packs from someone clickbaiting on Instagram, and you don't need to compare yourself to industry veterans because you're not at their level. You just gotta let the shit flow free and just enjoy yourself, because who knows, like, you might be better at a different style of art that you haven't even tapped into in like 10 plus years. Thanks for watching, guys and girls. Thanks, guys. Let me know if this sucked dick or not. But yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.